Good morning to all our participants who may be seeing this on a recording. We're starting on the floor. I've got the recording going now. Thank you, Jane. And we will begin by just be on the floor. The floor is underneath you. You are deeply connected, part of this earth, part of the biosphere on this earth. And your breath is that constant stream of energy flowing into you. And as you feel your breath, let your body be soft and relaxed onto the floor. Let your muscles let go for this very beginning part. And the breath lengthen. See if you can keep an even breath, even ratio breath, samavriti, between the inhale and the exhale. And enjoy that breath, that wonderful river of life flowing in you and through you, connecting you as you bring in the same air that has always been our atmosphere, and exhale it. Slightly changed, ready for the carbon dioxide lovers to take hold of it. I'd like to think about balance today. Balance, not just our physical balance on the floor and standing and as we move through our positions, but the balance of how we approach yoga or approach life even. I guess it could be a larger thought than this. How much effort are we putting out? Is it the balance of effort and ease that is right for us at this moment? Fortunately, we are all people with some experience and probably have worked this out to a greater or lesser degree in our lives already. But according to your yoga practice, just be aware of how much you push yourself. Is it too much? Are you making choices that take you into poses that are more than your body is asking for or needs at this time? Or are you hanging back and not challenging yourself to the degree that might be beneficial in terms of strengthening and building balance? And I feel like since I'm not with you, I am very aware of how easy it is to overdo. And I am constantly reminding you to listen to yourselves and not go to a point of pain. And that's very, very important. And I will not de-emphasize that. But if holding a pose for a breath, even as you begin to feel some discomfort, or allowing yourself to try a degree of deepness more, would work for you, there's no harm. That's not a no-no. That's how we grow, is to push just a little bit, to find that edge and play upon that edge with great compassion and awareness. And I think that's a great simile for life, that we need to do that in all our lives. Allow ourselves to go a little farther, to step a little beyond our comfort zone, at least to look into that area beyond our comfort zone and have a scan of it and see if we can understand it and know what's available for us there. So I will be reminding you throughout class, and if this resonates at all with you, please play along and see where and when you are pushing too much or hanging back more than you want to. And allow yourself to do what is perfect and correct for you. And know at the same time that nothing is perfect, and there's always an amount of experimental work that we do in yoga, testing ourselves, because every day our bodies are different, and certainly our bodies change so much as we grow up, continue to grow and mature. So let's take a moment and come back to the chest opener with the blanket, and do this one once again. I think we did it 2 weeks ago, where you roll a blanket or a towel and place it on your mat, then recline over this. And you want the support to be just at the bottom of your shoulder blades, just underneath your shoulder blades. For women, it would be the bra line. But if you can find the tips of your shoulder blades and lay down across that, if it's too much, you can unfold your blanket to some extent. I'm going to adjust this screen just a little so you can see me better. And if you feel like you'd like a little bit more, you can roll the blanket. I have mine kind of a flat roll because this is a place that is tender for me, and I like to be gentle with it. So lay yourself over that so your shoulder blades are just the tips of your shoulder blades are just at the top of that blanket. And experiment till you find yourself in a comfortable position where you feel that opening across your chest. Then place your hands into the cactus position. Your arms are bent at the elbow, the back of your hands on the floor. And everybody tense your legs, bend your knees, and place the soles of your feet on the floor. Feet are about hip width apart. And let's just take 5 long breaths here. In and out. And as you're here, breathe into that top area of your lungs especially. Feel the air flow all the way to the top of your chest and open your chest. And as you exhale, let your shoulder blades settle onto the floor. If the support under your back is too much, just take it away. Take it away and do the same thing without it. But feel that opening, that widening of your chest as you breathe in, and your shoulders settling back to the patient ground, the patient earth as you exhale. Wide open. It's a very vulnerable position. We take these vulnerable positions in yoga. If we were prey and there were lions around, we would be toast. But we open ourselves to the world like this and allow our wide open heart area to face into this messy, messy life. At the end of your 5th long breath, start a little bit of a cat-cow here. Now, for most of us, if you press down you will find that your hips are actually lifting just off the floor as you press your belly down because of the blanket. If the blanket is too much here, if the blanket is bothering you, just roll to your side and remove it. If you can handle it being there, we're all going to remove it in a moment anyway, but just to begin here, see if it's all right to have it there, to have the chest opener at the same time. The belly rises with your in-breath, and then as you press your abs into the floor, you will probably find your hips rising just a little off. And feel that area of your lower back and see what's going on in there today. As you wake that up and become conscious of it, sending your breath into whatever action you find there, using your breath as the mechanism that moves your body here, as if it's a piston of an engine. Now let's everybody roll to your side. If you haven't removed a blanket, flatten your area now so you're just on your mat. And return. And now take your knees into your hands and rock back and forth gently across your lower hips. Imagine you have a clock face on the back of your pelvis, and let's see, that would put 6 way down at your coccyx and 3 at one hip, noon right up at the top of your sacrum, and 9 o'clock at the other hip. And see if you can roll your hips around that edge of that circular clock face by moving your knees. This is the same circling of the sacrum that we do with a little different imagery. Sometimes I'm always hoping that if there are people who can't find a connection with one imagery, they might with another. So I'm borrowing this clock face imagery from one of my other teachers to see if this will resonate with anybody who does not connect with that, finding that sacrum, which sometimes is really difficult to connect with. And then take it the other direction, counterclockwise, the circular motion across the pelvis. At the same time, keep that long, even yoga breath going so that you are feeling the breath into your body, and pay attention to whatever feedback you get from your body as you do this. How does it feel today? Is it loose? Is it tight? Is it smooth? Is it sand? Is it like there's sand and grit in the areas? How does it feel? Then slow the motion and come back down. And we'll do a little bit of the same work with our shoulder area. I like to take my elbows and kind of roll back and forth across the shoulders, taking one elbow to the ground, first making this a rectangular position by placing your hands on your elbows. That makes a rectangular shape with your upper arms and your forearms and your torso, and then roll back and forth, bringing one elbow at a time towards the ground. Feel what's going on in the back of your upper body, the shoulders. We've been through the hips. Your hips will get a little more massage here too as you go from side to side. And for some of us, you may want to take the hands behind the neck and lift up slightly so that you're getting that same area we were lying across on the blanket, and taking a lateral back and forth motion across that area as you lift your shoulders and your head slightly off the floor. It might be a little much for some people, but you can give it a try and see if it works for you. Just warming up and checking out that area, which gets a lot of overstretching as we sit and read or work on our computers or even jigsaw puzzles. And then begin to take that back to the ground if you've taken it up. And let's take everything onto the floor. I have to readjust, I'm falling off the mat. And take a long stretch on the ground. Arms overhead, let's feel the feet flexed and the hands kind of in a knife-like position so that the edge of the hand goes onto that floor perpendicular. Stretch through one heel and the same arm, right heel, right fingers, left heel, left fingers, really opening up the sides of the body. Keep breathing, and then take the left hand, the left wrist in the right hand, and take them over to your right, and the feet can move over to the right to form that crescent moon shape, a gentle parenthesis shape with your body on the floor. If you want to try, you can take the left foot on top of the right. That adds a little bit more to the stretch if you like that. If that's too much, you can skip that. You can try it and take it off if you don't like it. And breathe into that stretch of your side, feeling the openness of the ribs. They fan open, just like the ribs of an old-fashioned fan or a Japanese fan. And breathe into that nice side stretch. Then release your hand, take the opposite hand on the opposite wrist. I'm stretching both sides to the left. I have my left hand on my right wrist. And take the stretch on the other side, making that C, well, it's not really C, more parenthesis shape on the floor. Keep your shoulder blade and everything flat on the floor here. So you're on the floor as you make this. The floor is such a great support. It's a great way to do some stretching and protecting your body at the same time, because the floor gives you this complete, safe place to lay your weight. Then release and come back to heels on feet flat on the floor. And we will roll up and down through the spine to get that nice flowing bridge posture. You can start by just pushing your feet and lifting the hips. And it can be really small at the beginning, and roll back through all the way down with your exhale. So you can lift with your inhale. If you want to add the arms rising overhead, that's great. And then roll down and see how much you can articulate that spine. See if you can imagine feeling every vertebrae lifting up in a wave and then flowing down, just like a beautiful, gentle wave on a tropical ocean, rolling in so smooth and glassy. And then bring it down. And up. And down. Next time we come up, do not lift your arms. Leave your arms at your sides and lift up. Now this time you can bend at the elbow and press the upper arms into the floor. You want to wiggle your shoulder blades under a little bit. That's great. That gives you a nice solid basis. Press the knees away from you. Let's just hold it for a moment and feel the light up of the back of your legs. Your back, your glutes and your hamstrings are really participating here. If you find your ribs popping up high, and I've been guilty of this as well, so you can relax them back into the long straight line of your spine. And make sure that your neck is relaxed here. Then let's lower that whole thing down again. And stretch both legs out. Lift the right leg into the body and press it in as the left leg stretches. See how far, see what flexibility is in that hip. See how it feels. And then holding your left hand on your left hip bone, allow that leg to open to the side and take your hand and guide the knee to give that hip joint some gentle sideways motion as well. Checking out to see what's going on in there. How does that feel? What's your range of motion today at this point in class? Everything moving smoothly? Is it sore? Is it stiff? Is it feeling good? Then release the right leg and give the left leg the same treatment. First, bring it in towards the chest. And if this pinches your hip joint, you can move it a little to the side, so you're bringing it to the outside of your ribs. So just depending on people's different anatomy in their hips, sometimes that makes a difference. Hips are very individual, very, very, they vary quite a bit from person to person. Keep that right leg stretching long, and then take this leg to the side and check out what's happening in that hip. And it probably feels quite different than the other one. And pay attention if there's anything in there you want to address during class, want to be aware of. If it's sore, or there's a tender place, or if it feels particularly stiff, you might want to really send your breath in there as you're working during class. If it really feels good, then you're going to enjoy having that strong, healthy joint today. And again, let's put feet on the floor. And let's do the figure 4 stretch at the beginning of class today. So take the right knee over the left and press that knee away from you. And this may be a great stretch for you. This is our first bus stop, and many people find the stretch they need here. And if you are feeling a lot of action and stretch toward the edge of discomfort here, you'd stop. But if you want to go further, you can reach through the triangle shape of your legs and bring this package towards you. And you can send your breath into that stretch. We're looking for a stretch along the back outside, the top outside of that back hip. Sometimes taking this top leg back and forth, or both legs actually, back and forth across your body helps to find that place in your body where that stretch is most effective. Use your breath to lubricate and open and relax those muscles in there. And let's release this side and reverse the arrangement so that the other leg is on top. Again, press that knee, the top knee away. See what's going on. And if you were looking for more, reach through and bring that package of legs, that bundle towards your torso. And again, you can take it back and forth across your body, looking for the most effective place for you. What's the most effective arrangement here to get a nice stretch? And use your breath. Use your breath like that river flowing into the log jam of muscles and tendons. Just gently trickling through to help that open up. And release. Let's roll over to the side or along spine the long way to come to hands and knees. And no, I have not forgotten abdominals. We are going to do abdominals, but we did not do them on your back. So we're coming to hands and knees. So I always like to have a blanket under my knees, even though I have a rug and 2 yoga mats. I like a blanket. So you always a nice idea to have that. And while you are arriving on hands and knees, just check out this orientation to the ground. How's gravity treating you here? And as you become comfortable and settled, start a little bit of a cat-cow motion so that your inhale lets your belly drop and your heart open through the front of your ribs and your chest. And your exhale takes your back up into the Halloween cat shape, making sure you get a nice stretch both back at your hips and forward at the shoulders. And let's take 3 or 4 of these. And begin to make the motion a little smaller until you find a nice stable compromise between those two actions where your shoulder blades are steady on your back, your abs are engaged. And send your right foot back. Stretch out the back of the leg to begin with, pushing the heel away from you, feeling a different action in the back of your legs. How's that working? How's that feel? And then lift that leg parallel to the floor. And we are going to bring it forward. For this, I like to move my hands, a handprint forward. We're going to bring the leg forward and touch. Imagine we could touch that knee to our nose and then stretch it back. So exhale and bring that knee forward and stretch it back. Now from here, you can add on by stretching the opposite arm forward and bringing that knee and arm together. Or you can stay with the first variation where you have both hands on the floor. You can also come back and forth between those two variations if one is good, but you don't want to do it the whole time. I'm going to do 5 more of these. Really feel your abs light up as you bring that knee in. And then hold the balance for another breath. Put the hand down, the knee down. Take a cat-cow and take the left leg back. Begin by stretching out the back of the leg, pressing the heel away, feeling those calf muscles and the Achilles tendon opening up. Lift that leg up parallel. Take a moment to find your balance. Let's do a contraction without the arm balance. 1 more. And then if you wish to, you can add that arm balance. Bringing the knee and elbow together under your body. And you can follow me. If you feel that it's right for you to stop before I do, that's perfectly fine. You might want to do a cat-cow when you arrive back. I'm going to do 3 more from here. And hand down, foot down, stretch, and cat-cow. And find your in-between place. I'm going to take off a layer now. It's a nice cool morning, but I'm warming up. We're going to do a little work with the shoulders with down dog. Now, some of you are not wanting to do down dog because you don't want to do an inversion where your head goes lower than your heart. And if that's true for you, you can do a little bit of a compromise here by reaching your hands forward and coming into puppy dog. And everybody may want to do this at the beginning, just to feel your shoulders opening. And if you are a non-inversion person because you have high blood pressure or glaucoma, you can come back and forth from here into a half plank and play in this area for a while. If you would like to come into down dog with me, you're going to have your hands, 1 handprint forward from the hands and knees position. Make sure your weight is coming forward onto your knuckle areas and not lingering into your wrists. You push with your hands, turn your toes under, and then keeping the knees bent at the beginning, push up to down dog. Let your head be loose. And take a breath and just feel how down dog is for you today. We don't always do down dog in class, but it's a very basic pose. Try stretching one leg straight at a time and explore the back of your legs that way. Come down whenever you need to, whenever it feels right. Then with your legs bent, really push into the hands. Feel the back nice and long. And the sitting mode's pushing up to the edge, the upper corner of the room there. The corner where the wall meets the ceiling behind you. 2 more breaths. Then lower to your knees and take it back to child's pose. In child's pose, breathe in to the back of the lower back. Breathe into your lower back. How did that feel? How did that affect you? How was that kind of fun? Was it feel good? Was it challenging? How did that affect you? Let's do it one more time if you wish to. Otherwise, play with that first variation. Turn the toes under, push through the hands, and lift the hips up. You can keep that deep bend in your knees as much as you need to. If you feel like experimenting, you can try straightening your legs. But if you find that straightening your legs makes you bow your back, then keep that bend in your knees, yeah. Most people will not have their heels on the floor. Some people have that variation where they have those nice long Achilles tendons and they can do it. But the rest of us are imagining what it will be like as our heels move towards the floor. 2 more breaths here. And let's lower the hands and knees. Take a cat-cow. And you might want to floss your shoulders once or twice where you let your ribs fall through and then lift up. It's like a cat, it looks a little bit like a cat-cow motion, but you're just moving your shoulder blades together on your back and then apart. That's what we call a shoulder floss. From here, we're coming down flat onto our bellies, so you can take your weight into your hands for a modified plank pose, and then you can bend as much as you need to come to the floor with some control, or you can just bend your elbows back and lower the front of your body as if you were doing half a push-up. Let's start by stacking our arms and resting the forehead there and rolling it back and forth. Take a deep breath and send it in again to that lower back area. Feel your legs long stretched behind you. The toes are pressing into the floor, flat on the floor, or you imagine them and visualize what it would be like as they reach that position. The legs are alive, reaching away and pressing down into the floor at the same time. Then stretch those arms long in front of you. I don't have quite enough room here, so I'm adjusting the furniture. And the forehead goes to the floor. All of us with big noses also have our noses on the floor. And as you have this position, keep the legs alive. The legs are energized. The muscles are awake. The legs are pressing gently into the floor and gently away from you. Same with the arms. And from here, stretch that right leg really far away and then lift it up behind you, leaving the hip bone on the floor. And then lower it down. As you breathe in, lift the left leg up, stretching away from you. It's a small motion. Your leg is not going to come up at a 90-degree angle. It's just a little bit, and then come down. Just whatever you have. You're waking up the back of the leg and also some of the glutes and the lower back. So that's what's waking up. Left leg again. We're going to do this one more time. And you're going to take the leg and the opposite arm, lifting at the same time. If that feels like too much, just stick with the leg. So this time it's the right leg and left arm, lifting up. Your head may want to come to and down. Right arm, left leg, and down. We'll repeat that. First the left leg, the right leg. Breathe in and lift the right arm, left leg, and down. And then take a moment and breathe with your forehead on your forearms again. Then take the forehead to the floor, put your arms in cactus position and relax. Now we're going to do both legs. If that feels like too much on your lower back, repeat the same thing with one leg at a time. Otherwise, if you want to give it a try, again, light up your legs, engage your abdomen, very helpful, engage your abdomen, push those legs away from you and gently lift both legs up. Hold for a breath and release down. We'll do that twice more. Both legs away and up and down. You can be doing this with one leg or both. Up and down. Now we're going to take the hands under the shoulders, press back to half plank, and release back to child's pose for 2 breaths. And rise to hands and knees. Before we come to a standing position, we're going to do 1 minute of plank. So I am getting the timer set and I will put it on. You can do the half plank. That's great. You can tuck under and do the full plank. You can start in full plank and come to half or vice versa. And you can finish before we do. You can also come in and out. So let's give it a try. Here we go. Press up into plank. While you're here, make sure that you have your belly engaged. Feel the heels reaching back. Imagine those muscles. There's a series of muscles that are like cellophane around the sides of your abdomen. Imagine those muscles reaching towards the center of your body, like you're constricting your waist. Feel them working for you. We're already halfway done, but adjust as you need to for yourself. And keep breathing. Make sure that breath is moving through your body, oxygenating your muscles and your brain. Very important. We're less than 10 seconds now. You are doing fantastic. Hang in there. And there we go. You can come down to hands and knees. And for some of you, that may have been really challenging. Some of you are going to think, that wasn't quite so bad. So remember that. You can do that. You have the capacity to do 1 minute of plank. Excellent. So let's come to standing. Take your time. Come up. I'm going to adjust my screen so that my head isn't cut off. Wiggle around. See what it's like to be standing up now. See how your body feels. What's happened? Has anything moved or changed within your body just in those few beginning poses? Maybe, maybe not. Take a little moment to check out the hips. Let's do a shoulder stretch while we're standing. So take that right arm and take it across the body, keeping the top of your shoulders lifted and strong. Your basic posture is still there. You can separate the feet and stand comfortably. You're going to take your arm straight across your body, then hook the other arm underneath on the side of your elbow towards the shoulder, and pull that arm towards you. See what you can find in that shoulder. This is a different stretch than we've done. We did a little bit of this as we worked on the floor, warming the shoulders up, but we really haven't been in this area yet today. So see what's there, see how it feels. And release that, give it a circle. And then let's use the other arm. Take the left arm out across the body. You can use your hand here too. If the forearm doesn't work, use your hand. Take it across the body. Keep the shoulder down in place as you do this. Just explore what this is stretching. You may feel a lot, you might not feel much. And release it. Let's give both shoulders a nice shrug. Shoulder blades come way up off the back and then settle down onto the back nice and flat. Let's do one more shoulder opener. And this time, take the arm up straight and bend the elbow. I'm going to come onto my knees just so you can see me. You can stay standing, just so you can see me. So this shoulder is up. We're placing the hand towards the back. It may not reach your back, doesn't matter. But your arm is up, and see if you can bring it towards. How far can it come towards in line with your head? My arms are skinny, my shoulders are fairly open. So your work may look really different than this. If you have a big muscular arm and shoulder, it will not come in like this. Just you're looking for that stretch and opening feeling. And then when you get there, take a moment and let it settle. And see if you can, with a breath, with an in-breath, give it a little more movement towards the back of the room. Just explore, see what's there. And feel that stretch. Find a good stretch and breathe into it. And release. Let's do the same thing with the other arm. You start by lifting the arm with the palm facing behind you, then bending it, letting that palm fall towards patting yourself on the shoulder. May not be anywhere near there. That's not a problem. That's just the direction we're heading. And then, as I say, some of you who have muscular shoulders and are built differently, or your shoulders are built differently, will find that you're out here, and that's just fine. But encourage it towards in line with your head. No pain, just finding the stretch. Take a moment for that stretch to exist and begin sending your breath, the energy of your breath into that area. And then see if you can encourage it just a wee bit further back. If you can't, if it's painful, don't do it. You're not going for pain, you're going for opening. This is that edge we play on. I should do this. There's no should, it's what's right for your body. Looking for that edge of finding action without pain, finding opening and change without hurting yourself. And then release that one. Shoulder shrug again. I'll come back up to greet you. Let's start at the top of the mat. And we're going to step back into Anjali Asana with choices. If you would rather work low here, if you feel like your balance is off or you want a more grounded practice today, to step back, let's see, I'm going to actually take the other end so you can see this. I'm going to step back with my right foot back, And Anjalayasana is straight back, so we have hip distance between the feet. Hip bones are facing forward and I'm on my toes. Now the first variation is for those of you who say, my foot doesn't do that. There's some feet that do not do this. If your foot doesn't do that, take your foot and place it flat on the floor so you're into the footprint of warrior one. And there's some of you who would prefer a lower practice, less energy, more grounded. Then you're going to take, you can lower down onto your knee. You can put a blanket under your knee and come to a low lunge. Let's bring our blocks to the front of the mat before we get started here. So blocks to the front. These are here for any support you need coming up or down, anytime the floor feels too far away. So come to the top of the mat. Take a breath. Enjoy standing up. See what your house looks like when you're standing. And then place hands on hips and step the right foot back into Anjalayasana, or warrior one, or lower down to a low lunge. And from here, the arms are coming up. And this is a balancing pose right here. To really keep your balance working, make sure you're aware of those feet on the floor. Your legs are alive and they're pulling in towards each other as if you were going to wrinkle your mat. Lighting up your legs that way, strengthening your legs is one of the best ways to find your balance. But balance comes and goes, that's okay. So breathe here, holding the pose. We'll hold it for 3 more breaths. If you can find this stretch a little bit along the front of the leg that's extended back, that's great. That you can access that by really lighting up your belly, lengthening your lower back down. Also, you can encourage your arms behind you, depending on how your shoulders are today, how that feels. 1 more breath. Then let's place hands on hips and everybody lower down to a low lunge. And I'm going to add my blanket again because I love having my blanket there. And find the low lunge. And place your hands on your thigh and bring your hands up. With the low lunge, we have even more capacity of relaxing the hips slightly forward and extending the stretch along the front of the hip flexors and the psoas muscles. And again, to make sure you're accessing that, bring in your belly so that you can lower or flatten the back of your pelvis. And the arms can reach slightly back. Then bring the hands to the floor. Either side of your front foot. It doesn't have to be the floor. It can be anywhere on the blocks. It can be low on the blocks or high on the blocks. I'm going to demonstrate with the blocks on their second side here. Then we're going to open into a little bit of a twist. So take your weight into the hand that's on the inside of your foot. So if your left foot is forward, that will be your right hand on the block. And let the left hand open up. And as you do so, see if you can keep your hips in line. Take that opening, take that twist into your upper body. Shoulders to the waist. And lower that down. Let's take advantage of this position by pressing into that front foot. And first, just flex back and forth in that foot. Just stretch that foot forward and flex it back. And stretch it forward and bring it back. Open the toes wide as you work through the foot one more time. And finish with a flexed foot. And we'll take advantage of being here by bringing our weight forward with a flat back, looking for the stretch through the back of the strong, meaty hamstring here. See where you feel it. Where are you finding it? Is it towards the top of the muscle? Sometimes people do this and find the most stretch in their calf muscles, and that there's nothing wrong with that. It just happens to be where you are a little stiff or a little tight today. If you feel this really strongly in your knee, then you might want to adjust and maybe come up a little bit, finding a place where you can access the muscle more than the knee joint. And breathe. Then put the foot down, flex that press into the front foot, and let's come up and return to standing at the front of the mat. So be careful if you have your blanket in there, don't let it trip you up. Step over it to the front. And from here, we'll do a forward fold. You can use your blocks for a nice flat back fold if you are not wanting to invert, or you can bend your knees and allow yourself to fall all the way forward into a really deep forward fold if that feels good to you today. Let your head dangle and experiment with what happens when you straighten your legs. What amount of bend in those legs feels best to you. Then let's all come back to the straight back. We're going to come to standing, so engage your belly. And you can come up with a flat back if that feels good, or roll up and bring the arms all the way to the ceiling and down through prayer position. Let's do that 3 times with a deep breath. Once more. Feel the changing energy as summer ripens into fall. And we'll step back into Anjalayasana, or whichever variation you chose, Warrior One or a low lunge, with the left leg back. So the left leg comes back, and work yourself into a nice strong balance here. Sometimes when I say drop your back, another teacher will say, tilt your pubic bone towards your navel. It's another way of getting people to engage and contract, or really use their abdomen to find that strength there. Make sure your feet are alive and you're aware of them. Make sure your legs are pulling towards each other, and bring your arms up to complete this pose. Remember that if you find your shoulders lift, you can open your arms wider. This is a place where people with very muscular shoulders or big shoulders are going to find ease by keeping their arms a little further apart. Just making room for your body. Sometimes different bodies want different amounts of room in a pose. And that's why some of the binding poses just don't work for some people. There's just not enough room. So lift and feel that life from all the way from the back heel up through your fingers. We'll do 5 breaths here. As always, you can come out when you need to. You can come in and out if that works better on your body. And then hands to hips. We're all going to lower down. Your blocks are here to support you if you need it. lower down to the low lunge position and enjoy that for a moment. Join whoever was working in low lunge. Make sure you keep your hips even with each other so that you're not letting that right hip, if that's the leg that's in front, roll out. And you can bring your weight forward here into the depth of this lunge to find even more stretch, adjusting for what's right for you today. The stretch that feels good, that feels opening and releasing. Arms come up and breathe here. 3 good breaths here. Make sure that back leg is still engaged and alive. I like to sometimes focus on my toes, flattening and opening and flattening my toes. That helps me keep that working. And then take your hands back to the blocks, and we will take the weight onto the back knee and do that flexing and stretching motion with the foot. And those of you who've been going barefoot in the yard may notice that your toes are dirty, like mine. I think I've got some grass stains there. Then finish with a flex position. Straighten and lengthen the back with an exhale and contraction into the tummy. Allow your torso to come forward, looking for the stretch along the back of your muscles, especially the hamstring. And rise up. And I realize I forgot the opening, the twist. So let's come forward, weight forward onto that front foot again. Adjust your blocks as would be most comfortable for you in this opening position. And take the weight onto the hand that's on the inside of your foot. And then open towards that bent knee. Feel that stretch. See if you can keep this hip in place and use the front of your body to rotate open. If your neck is really happy today, you can try looking up to the ceiling. I'm not going to do that, but that's an option. And we'll relax that hand down. And let's come press into the front foot and push down and come back up to the front of the mat. And again, return to standing position. Find mountain pose. Three breaths up and through. If you'd like to sigh it out audibly, please feel free to do so. And this time we're going to step back. Everyone's going to step back with the right foot into warrior one. So we won't need, I don't think we'll need the blanket there, so you can step it aside. Let's step back. And for everyone, you're going to have that flat foot in the back. Hips are oriented towards the front edge of your mat in line. And the strength of the pose is the same base we were working with. The feet are engaged and alive. Let's everyone find the pose just with your hands on your hips. Adjust your belly in and see if that little tilt of your pubic bone makes sense to you, and lengthen the back of your pelvis. Now try lifting the toes. Lift all the toes off the floor as much as you can. It's maybe just a tiny bit, that's all right. But feel how that engages your legs. Feel how that lights up your legs. That's what we're looking for, is that feeling of the legs are really working. See if when you lift up your toes, you can also feel the arches under your feet awaken. Some people have big arches, some people have almost flat feet. So it will vary from person to person. Just pay some attention there. Then let's take the arms up. What we're going to do today actually is a pose we've done, action we've done a little bit before. So start by taking the arms back into kind of a Superman cape position. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, contract and bring the right arm on top and hug yourself. Then open and contract with the left arm on top. We can flow through this even more if you straighten the front knee as you open back and bend it as you contract forward. See if you can alternate which arm is on top as you bend forward. It's not critical, but gives a little variety. So breathe, open, back. You can even look a little bit up at the ceiling. And then contract, bend forward. Open up. This is the last time. Contract and bend forward. And then come back to standing. Let's come into the traditional pose for a moment. Take a breath here. Now I'm going to give you a challenge. We're going to step forward. See if it's possible for you to bring your right knee up as you step forward. And if not, you can bring your right knee up after you step forward. And then lower that knee. Lower the arms and take a moment to wiggle. See what your body needs. How are you feeling? What's going on? Check in. You okay? Take a deep breath. Shoulder shrug. Hands on hips, we're going to do the other side. So you step back with your left foot if you were following me and come into warrior one. Take a moment to solidify and adjust and try with this side, lifting those toes. And when your toes are up, see what happens to your arches. Can you feel those arches lifting as well? The strength of those intricately constructed feet. And roll the toes down, but see if you can keep that aliveness in the legs as we work. Now, the front leg bends, but make sure it doesn't come in front of your toes. The knee you should still be able to see your front toes. Knee is in line with the heel. And take the cape open and back with an in-breath. And then forward. We're going to do the same arms on this side. And open. And back. And open. And embrace yourself. Open. And embrace yourself. Last time. Embrace yourself. And then open to the traditional pose. See if you can set up now with the weight on the front foot, pour that weight into the front foot, lighten the back foot, and see if you can bring that knee up as you come forward. Or if you step forward with both feet, then bring the knee up. And balance here for just a moment. Bring the foot down. Take another moment to integrate and wiggle. See how it's going. How's everything feeling? Working through some standing work. Let's step open to the front. Bring your block or blocks with you. Find yourself with a straddle position with your feet parallel rather than turned out parallel. We'll come into a forward fold here. I'm going to give you a couple of yogi choices. Of course, if you are a non-inversion person, you're going to come forward with a nice flat back, and your work is going to be stretching those legs away from each other and your hips back. Everybody can start here. And then if you have more room and you're fine inverting, you're going to allow your chest to fall forward. You can take these arms out in front of you into a half dog position. Or you can walk them in towards parallel with your feet. And in this forward fold, keep the outside edges of your feet engaged. Keep lifting through the inside of your legs. See if you can keep your back straight and bent from the hips. You can relax your head and just see how much room there is today and how does it feel. And everyone, lift to the flat fold, engage your belly and lift all the way up. We're going to come to triangle pose by rotating the right foot out and the left foot in. So it's like the base of a warrior two without the bent front knee. In triangle pose, we open the arms just as you would for warrior two, that we're completely flat and oriented towards the front of our mats, the long edge of our mats. And we begin to pull forward with the right arm. And when you run out of room, the arm comes to your leg. It could be here. This could be your triangle. That's a great triangle. Or it may be a little lower. If you have your hand on your front shin, push into that shin to avoid the hyperextension of your front leg. We open nice and flat. And if you have a vision of yourself in your screen, check and see that your torso is long and straight. Sometimes the ribs want to hump up and curve the torso. We want to keep it open and straight if you can. And breathe here. Let's take 3 more breaths in triangle. Then imagine your best friend is lifting this hand behind you and helping you back up. And from here, let's bend into a brief warrior two. Say hello to warrior two as long as we're in the neighborhood. Take the arms up and look out. From here, I have a perfect view of my neighbors in the 2nd story of the house that's being built. The same work goes on in the legs here, that same lighting up we did. You can experiment here by lifting your toes as well. And press into that front foot and rotate it back parallel with the other foot so we have parallel feet again. Grab your block and we'll bend forward. Everybody stay with a flat back. You can have your hands on a block at whichever height is correct for you. Or if you have room, you can take your hands all the way to the floor. We're going to do a little bit of twisting here. I'm going to stay with my block on the medium height. And first of all, take a breath here. Really feel solid and strong in this pose. Make sure the back of your neck is nice and long. Your shoulder blades are comfortably on your back. Your feet and legs are strong. Deep breath. And then let's lift the left hand and roll just the shoulders and waist. The hips are going to stay nice and solid. And open to the side. And exhale. And then with a breath, let's do a little bit of twisting the other direction. Going through that 2 more times. And find yourself back with a straight back. Engage the feet and the belly, hands on hips. Stand up. Then rotate the front foot parallel to the long edge of the mat. Turn in the back toes. So we're ready for triangle on the other side. Lift the arms. And the left arm is pulled out just as far as you can go, where there's room. And then the hand comes to the thigh. Just not, you don't want it right on the knee, or a little bit lower if you have room. This side may be very different. No surprise there. Again, press in to the hand with the shin, if you're on your shin, and check to see that that back is nice and long and open. Keep the legs strong. That back foot is really working strong into the floor as you open to the chest. And this hip is rolling back. The top hip is rolling back. Breathe. Again, if you have room in your neck, you can look towards that top hand. Then lift up that top hand. Take a breath and bend the front foot. And find warrior 2 for 3 breaths. Hands on hips and heel toe the feet together. We're coming towards the end of our standing sequence here. Let's come to the to your support system. If it's a counter, chair, a wall, we'll do a little 1 foot balancing. We've been working on King Dancer, but I'd like to come back to tree today. I don't know why, I just feel like tree would be great. So I'm standing with my right foot towards my supporting wall. And I will, so the foot that's nearest your support begins to take your weight, and the other foot lightens, just really frees up. And then we're going to take that foot off the floor, and you can start with and allow the knee to rotate away. You can start low. You can start with your toes on the ground in kickstand pose, or come up to just onto your calf, again avoiding the knee, or take it up towards, all the way towards your groin area. And wherever you are, you can press the foot and the leg together to help find solidity and balance. And you can start with, keep the balance wall as much as you need it. Whatever's right for you today. And then but your hands can come together into prayer, which for many of us is very stable. And then if you have the balance is with you today, the force is with you, you can open your arms into cactus or tree. For balance, you always want to be looking at one spot. So that's your drishti, your focal point. And that one magic place. Pick something that doesn't move, and that will help your balance a great deal. And the other trick is to keep breathing. Even if you wobble, keep breathing. Because I guarantee if you stop breathing, you'll fall out. And bring your hands together onto the hips if you wish, and finish. Give yourself a little moment to stand straight and tall before we turn and come to the other side. So from this side, same sequence. We're going to pour the weight into the foot that's nearest the support. Lighten the other foot, open it to the side, and bring it anywhere from wrapped at the ankle to the calf, all the way to the groin, pressing the foot and the leg together. You can find your balance with your hands on your hips, the hands in prayer position, your hand on the wall. And if you find your balance with a focal point and are able to open your arms and experiment, that's fun. And keep your breath moving. If you have a window, you can even maybe look at a tree while you're doing tree pose. Or you might have a painting of a tree. I'm looking at a painting of trees. You can come down whenever you need to. Let's all come down now. You can do it with control. That's lovely. And again, take a wiggle. We're working back to the floor now. All the way down. I would like to do 2 stretches here. First of all, if you lie on one side, reach back to find your ankle or your foot or your pants, whatever you can reach. And let's do a little quadricep stretch here. That's done. We do it just the way we do it at the wall. You line up, see if you can bring that top foot into line with the bottom one. And bring that knee, if you can, that may be plenty of stretch. If there's more room, you bring your heel towards your bum. And feel that whole front line of your thigh line. It will warm and open. Want to keep the body as strong and straight as possible. I have my elbow bent under my head for support here. Release that leg, and let's just roll to the other side. And again, you can bend your elbow and support your head as you take your leg first parallel. You might want to flex that bottom foot. This is a little bit of a balancing act as well. And then bring it back. And release that foot. Let me see if we still have time for my second one. We do, yay. So land your back and take a moment to lengthen that back. Find the flat plane of your sacrum under there. Tense your knees, bend your knees and put your feet flat on the floor. Tuck the shoulder blades under. Just reacquaint your body with being on the floor. We're going to return to the figure 4 stretch here. You may have guessed that. So let's start with the left foot just for a change. So bend the left leg and put it on over, just below or on top, depending on which way you're, between the knee and the thigh. And press the knee away from you. You may find your stretch here. If not, you can reach through to find the back of your thigh and bring the knees closer to your body. And again, take them back and forth to find the best stretch you can. What feels most appropriate to you. You get some action without a painful feeling. And release, and take it on the other side. If you followed me, you'll have your right leg on top this time, pressing that knee away, and if necessary, reaching through the package of the triangular opening to find the back of your thigh. Pull those legs towards you. Reaching into those complex gluteal muscles, which affect your posture, they affect your sitting, and they affect back pain. So we really like to keep them in good shape, open and flexible, as well as strong. Because of over-tightening of the muscles can cause pain. Shortening of the muscles can cause pain. Use your breath into that sensation. And let go of that leg. With the knees bent, I'm going to do a happy baby. If you feel like you need a lateral twist or some other motion, please do. If you want to join me in happy baby, this will be our last stretch. So it's a choice. If you have something you know you need, please take care of yourself. Reach up towards your feet. You can grab your ankles or perhaps your hands will reach to the feet and pull those legs towards you. Some people will have their legs straight at their sides. Other people's knees will open wide. Again, this is just a matter of what your hips are like. And feel that nice broad back of your pelvis as you do this. You may want to rock back and forth or straighten one leg at a time. Whatever feels good. Finishing up here, getting ready to have our relaxation and integration time. And when you're ready here, move into your Shavasana placement. You can have a rolled up blanket under your knees. You can have a blanket under your head. You can do Shavasana in a fetal position on your side if that's better for you. You can put your legs up the wall if you have a nice setup for that and you enjoy it. Whatever works for you. If you want, it's cooler today, maybe you want to put your jacket back on or put a blanket over you. And stretch out and again, become acquainted with the floor. Feel every part of the body that the ground, the floor hits, that you are aware of, that you can feel yourself touching the floor. Feel how that is today. Find yourself nice and flat and relaxed on the floor. And as you do so, let your breath be long and even. You might even go for a little bit longer exhale than the inhale. Very relaxing breath, steadying breath. And feel how your body is. Check on your body real quick and see what's going on. How is it? How's everything now? How have things opened and changed? And if you engaged in the practice of thinking about push and pull and hold back and work harder, thinking about how you approach that, how was it? What happened? Did you learn anything? Did you confirm what you know about yourself? Did you try something different? Were you more careful or more kind to yourself, or were you a little bit more adventurous? What happened? How does that work? And how does that work in our lives day to day? Then let everything go. Let the muscles become very, very soft. Your shoulder blades are flat on the ground. Your knees, your hands fall open. Your feet fall open to the side. And your tongue relaxes in your mouth. Your eyeballs fall back in your head. And your organs settle They tick along just like they're supposed to all the time, but under minimum stress here, just quiet and even and gentle. Let that breath be long, but let go of control of it and just be with that deep quiet that lives within you. If you have time for a longer Shavasana and feel that you would like one, please feel free to stay and be there as long as you possibly can indulge yourself and feel good. If you're ready to move on with your day, take a breath and let yourself start to wake up. Move however feels appropriate, swallow and move your head. And when you're ready, take a deep breath. Move to your right side in fetal position. Make sure to take a deep breath there before you come and join me in the seat. It's lovely to see all of you today. Thank you so much for being here. Please continue to take excellent care of yourselves. We need you. We need all of you so much. Make sure you get some fresh air and something nice to eat. Take good care. Namaste.
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 Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording. Goodbye, friends. And if you'd like to join, I will return to, I think you can unmute yourself. I'll check on that and say goodbye if you'd like. Yeah, you can unmute yourselves if you like.
Thank you, Mary.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. It's so nice to see you. I hope
So
that works.
nice to see you too.
Yeah, good, good. Take care. Hi, Karen. I didn't see you at the beginning of class. You okay?
Yes, I am. Thank
All
you.
right, good.
I thought you were going to be gone longer, so I.
Oh, hey, I've done this dance before. I usually can get over it pretty quick. Thank goodness.
Good.
How's your kitty, Sandy? How's your new kitty? They're feisty. Good, good. Well, I hope everybody's hanging in there. We got to get in all the sunshine we can. Be outside with your friends as much as you can. Soak it up and figure out how you're going to handle this next part of this adventure we're on.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Oh, look at that.
Isn't she adorable? I'm a little envious of that cat, I have to tell you. I know I don't need a cat, but oh my goodness, that looks like fun. Yeah. Okay, kids, take it
All right.
easy. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.